Oscar, look at this fog. What's going on, everybody, and welcome. Right now we're sitting in a 38. It's a 38 Regal, brand new. It's a 2022. I actually just did the first services on it. I'm gonna apologize now because my videos are gonna be a little bit spotty. I have 3 young kids, and Santa's definitely coming this year, so I might make 1 or 2 videos a week if I can here. But until the new year, we'll get back rolling 2 or 3 a week. But for now, let's figure out what we're going to finish up on this boat, and I'll show you what I've done. Okay, so looking around here, you can definitely tell she's brand new. It's got 17 hours on it. We just did the first 20-hour service on the Yamahas. I've went through these boats a few times in my videos. Nicely laid out. But we got to come back into the back here and go down in the hole. So let me open this up. Still a little bit foggy out there. Slowly going away. Alright, let's get down in the hole here. I'll show you what I've done and why. Alright, before I show you what I've done, let me explain to you why I've done it. This boat, for some reason, is leaning when it's just sitting still in the water pretty hard to the starboard side. Like there's too much weight on the starboard side of this boat. Sometimes manufacturers will put lead weight in the boat. I've seen Pursuit do that a few times on some of their older models. But we came up with an idea, and hopefully it'll work. And I'll show you what we're thinking here. So if you look in this spot right here, next to our crapper tank here, this used to have the fuel tank for the generator, the diesel fuel tank, and the boat's leaning to the starboard side here. So if you look over here, here's our generator. There used to be nothing behind it, so we moved the tank all the way over here to try to give it more of that offset of weight. So you put fuel in this and it should even the boat out. I think one of the problems is, see, it already has batteries on this side. So it's already pretty heavy on this side. That's our house batteries, our big 8D batteries. And you got the shore power reel over here. That's got some weight to it. This thing could have some weight. But if you look, our main fuel tank, it only has 1 tank for all 3 motors. It looks like, you see, there's a gap over here. We measured. There's not much of one over there. It's almost like the tank is cheated to the starboard side for some reason. So because of that, this thing holds 360 gallons. You fill this bastard up and you got quite a bit of extra weight on the starboard side. That doesn't help. Plus all your components are on that side because that's the side you drive on. So you got the bench seat, everything over there adds to the weight. So as you can see in the title, we actually are trying to add ballast to this side. So what I've done is wired our fuel sender all the way back across there and looped the vent hose. Let me get a flashlight. Here we go. So I looped the vent hose up, reattached our fuel sender here. I'm actually going to put the fill up here, right there. See it? Already drilled the hole. We just got to put that in. I got the fill line right here, so we're just gonna cut that when we measure it. That's about the last piece to this. Then we can fill our tank up and add fuel to it. But if you look, I tied the sender wire, both of those, the bonding wire and the sender wire, up all the way down with the vent line here. It's got the blower hoses underneath it here that pretty much goes all the way across to the other side. And let's see, if you look over here, you can see my vent hose that I tied up. I snuck my sender wires over here because we had to run that new wire over here too. And if you look, I've attached our vent line together right here, so we didn't have to make a new spot in the boat because they're already gonna have to fix our big hole there that used to be for the fill. Another thing we have to do here to this boat is, there's our fill for our main tank. If you look here, it goes all the way down. It goes back around and then it goes to the tank here. Well, it has a little belly here. It's not really going downhill too good, so it's hard to put fuel in. It probably backs up right here before it heads down that way. So what I'm gonna do is cut this, make it shorter. That way there is no up and down. It should be only down. That should help solve the problem of it not taking fuel too well. And since I did the service, I also got to change our fuel water separators out. I've already finished the motors. Now we got to test run them. I'm also going to have to prime the generator here and test run this after we get fuel in it, after I hook our hose up here. So let's start with hooking our hose up. Do that first. There's also one other thing on this boat, which is just the wireless charger on the dash. We'll get to later. Jim's gonna help me.
As always.
Gonna try to reach up there and put this wire on there at the same time. There, go ahead. Good?
Yep.
That's it. Thank you. Alright, so now we've got our bonding wire hooked up. Wrap that around for static. It's gonna end up hooking right there. But we got our fill tube here. We're gonna have to cut it, hold it up there and mark a spot on it. We got our marker, mark a spot. There, we got a spot here. Stuff doesn't like to cut very well. Stuff has a metal liner in it, keep it rigid. Alright, spray a little silicone. Make it go on easier. Get our clamps on here. Definitely an awkward angle. Alright, so we gotta reach this. Use a shorty screwdriver here. My left hand. I'm not left-handed. You could use a 5/16 quarter on this. That means I gotta get out of the boat and go in the shop and grab it. There we go. Good and tight. Now, we've got our bonding wire. Wrap that around it. This is just for static, which I don't know why they put it on the diesel side, but we'll leave it the way they had it. I don't think diesel fuel will ignite with a spark, or with a spark or static electricity. That can't hurt. That should be good. Then we can bond it right to here. First, let's tie this hose up so we don't go downhill at all. Put a little bit of a tie in it here. That way we go straight down. We don't have the problem that we're having with the other tank where it puddles the fuel up. Put one more in here, right here. There we go. Now we got a straight shot downhill. Let's hook our bonding wire up real quick. Well, the sun's out here. It's getting rid of that fog. But in the meantime, it is 2,000% humid right now. Alright, so that fuel tank's done. You might as well fix this other fuel tank hose here, the fill hose. Since it goes downhill, we'll stretch it out a little bit and make sure that it goes straight downhill so it doesn't puddle up like it was. Let's first see if we can get this out of here. If it comes off without having to cut it to pieces. There we go. Alright, good. Comes right off. So I can see part of the problem here. This spot is tied to this white hose. I'm going to cut that. It's also attached right here to this. Cut that off. There we go. Allow us to go downhill instead of uphill. So it looks like we should be good down, down. And then we'll start our journey down right here. That way it doesn't back up in this area right here that I just cut out. It looks like that. Should be perfect. So we'll cut it off right here. Let's cut this metal band out of here. We got some sparks. That's probably a good idea with the fuel that's in there. Get it down as far as we can. right, nice and tight. Now we're going downhill. So now, let's put some diesel in our tank here. Put about 15 gallons in it. Now we got our magic siphon here. Let's see if we can get it to work. It's a pretty cool little thing on the end there. It's a little brass fitting with a check ball and a little marble in it. That way you can siphon it out without having to try to suck it out with something. I definitely don't want to taste diesel fuel today. But I gotta get 3 of these in there, so let me do that. Here's our last one. Cap back on here. Alright, so we got fuel in our tank now. We got about 15 gallons. We'll be able to bleed this out so we can start it up and test it. The next thing we gotta do is change out our fuel water separators because we did a 20-hour service and that's something we gotta do during the service. But look what we got. Unfortunately, because of this parts problem we have, we've resorted to using aftermarket fuel water separators. They're still 10 micron, but it's almost unheard of that our company ever uses anything but OEM stuff. That's actually the Yamaha fuel water separators from the factory right there. But we'll change them out and we'll be back for its 100-hour service anyways, and hopefully by then we'll have Yamaha parts. Alright, now the fun part. Let's crawl down in the hole here. Get all these loosened up first. There's 1, 2, and 3. Let's do that again in reverse order. 1, there's 2, and there's 3. They only gotta be hand tight. So let's get this cover off here. We can bleed the fuel system and we'll fire this thing up. All right, now we can crack our fitting open here. Gonna have to go turn the generator panel on and bleed this out. Oh, panel's already on. Get all of our air out of it. We'll fire this up, make sure it's good. Got no running issues with this. Just gotta make sure it's bled out good. Can you hear the pump change noise when it starts to get solid fuel? Just like that. It's a good solid fuel. Close that off. And let me get a hose so we can put it in our strainer here. Oh, we got water. Let me go fire it up. Pumping water good. Let's go to our control panel here. I want to see something too. I didn't check this. Make sure that we have fuel on our gauge up here. So the generator's got about a half a tank now. That's the regular, the big tank that's in the middle there. Let's jump down here. We already got shore power hooked up. So we already got voltage. We got good voltage here on our shore power, 240, 120. So let's switch it over. Really ain't got no load on it, so let's turn on the AC pump, air conditioner, just to load it up. It ain't gonna do much on the trailer here, but we can check our amperage, make sure that they're doing what it's supposed to. Yeah, you can see them flickering around, AC's turning on. We can turn all this stuff off. The generator's running good, it's been running long enough. Let's switch this back over to our shore power side here. Turn this off so I can go turn the hose off real quick. At least all this got drain holes that all go to the bilge, so we're all right. The bilge pump's running right now. We'll clean his strainer out for him too. But now, we gotta fire up each one of these Yamahas. Alright, start with our port engine. Alright, shut this one off. Let's fire up our center one. finally the starboard engine. See, our voltage is good here. Got 14.3 when it's running on this side. Shut her off here. Alright, our last piece of the puzzle here is got our wireless charging pad right here. Up underneath here, there's our charger itself right there. Let's pull the wiring and check power. And then we know if we got a good or bad unit. Yep, got plenty of power. So looking at this thing, it should unscrew. Here, let me show you another one. There's 3 screws there. I'm gonna have to take the screws out. Hopefully I can get a screwdriver into that one. Here's a new one. It looks like it just screws in and out of it. So we'll take this off. We'll get the old one off and we'll screw this in there and screw that back up and it should work. All right, we got the old one out of there. Now let's put the new one in. I got those 2 in. With this one, I use a little stubby screwdriver. So I'm gonna get my hand in there. Turn it a little bit at a time. Try not to drop the screwdriver and lose it too. All right, now they're all tight. Let's screw our piece in there. Can't see very well, but this thing just threads in, it's plastic. All right, we got it plugged in. And what I'll do is, if it works, I'll just put a little silicone there so this thing doesn't want to back out. So let's give it a test. Well, it looks like she's working good. Get down here real quick. I got a forklift going right there. Be a little bit quieter right here. Anyway, that is all for today. Got everything done that I wanted to. Just gonna wrap everything up here and put everything back. As always, I appreciate everybody joining me on my daily activities here. And I will see you next time. Later. So check it out. This is always pretty cool to me. Get your plotter here. We can put whatever you want on either screen here. At the very back here, we have an entertainment system. TV folds down behind here. Look at that. You can actually mirror it to the GPS if you want to.